What's going on, guys? So today's video is going to be an interesting one. I'm doing some work on the Surveyor. Nothing wrong with it other than the fact that I really want to utilize the battery that I have in here, the 300 amp hour battery that we installed, to power some other things other than just 12 volt stuff. So I'll probably figure out how I can run a small inverter in here just to be able to power things aside from the air conditioning unit. And the inverter that I'm likely to install is going to be one that I picked up off of Amazon really cheap. It was like 80 bucks or something like that. And it was really because of a viewer of the channel who said that they saw it. It was a Renogy 500 or 600 watt pure sine wave inverter. I went on to Amazon, I saw it, went ahead and bought it because it was really affordable. And I'll probably throw it in here somewhere, but that's not the point of today's video. I just wanted to give you an update on why I'm out here today. That said, I think this video is going to be very informative for those of you who are considering buying an RV, who maybe just bought an RV, and maybe planning out the lifestyle you plan on having with the RV, whether you're going to be a full-timer, whether you're going to be a weekend warrior, whether you're just going to use it temporarily, or even if you're just going to set it out on a piece of property as kind of a tiny home, small cabin. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hang tight. I'll be right back. All right, so the point of this video is going to be pretty obvious for most folks. I think people who have followed my channel for a long time realize that I am a very, very pro RV consumer. Even though I do collaborations with some manufacturers, even though I collaborate with accessory manufacturers, even though my channel sponsors eTrailer.com, who doesn't really have any affiliation with RV manufacturers, but they sell products from about 1,000 different manufacturers, including companies like Lippert, who own Kurt, Ranch Hand, and several other brands. That said, though, there's the perception sometimes that you can't be unbiased if you are tied to the industry in any way. Now, just the fact that I have an RV and truck related YouTube channel does tie me to the industry in a way. So some folks are going to say, well, if you have to review RVs as part of what your channel's about, then obviously you have to have a good relationship with RV manufacturers, dealerships, and all of that to get access to them. And there's truth to that. The fact is, you don't want to just blatantly come up with a blanket statement that says everybody's bad and then expect to be welcomed to a manufacturer's factory, or to have behind the curtain kind of conversations, or go to a dealership lot and be welcome to allow you to film content and stuff like that. So I understand that there is a certain amount of relationship management that takes place whenever you are an RV related content creator. That said, though, this video, and this is the part that is so important, so if you skip through the rest of that, this is the part I want you to listen to. This is the part where I explain to you, a consumer of an RV, whether you are looking to buy an RV, whether you just bought an RV, whether you're trying to figure out what type of lifestyle you'd like to have with your RV. There's a lot of folks who want to give up owning a home and a mortgage, and they want to sell all of that, hit the road either in a large fifth wheel, a travel trailer, class A, B, or C motorhome. There are so many folks who are exploring that. So this video is going to talk about the realities of that decision and things that you should think about. So step one for most people is making that jump, determining what type of RVer they want to be. And there's so many folks out there who are bought into the dream of living full-time on the road in an RV, exploring some of the less explored areas of the country, some of the areas that you might not normally think of visiting. No matter where you want to go, there's likely a place that you can take an RV that's going to be relatively close to that thing you're going there to see. Now, when people start embarking on this journey of becoming an RV owner, whether again it's going to be a weekend warrior or a full-timer or a camper, whatever you want to call it, there's a lot of, I'm going to be honest with you, there's a lot of things that would make you believe it's a dream, like you're going to absolutely love this lifestyle. And I think for the most part, people do love the lifestyle until they start having problems, or until the work, the labor of setting up their RV, getting it the way they want it, configuring it the way they want it, perhaps even doing initial repairs on it, outweigh the joy that they thought they would have as an RVer. Now, I say this being someone who has experienced significant issues with RVs. We've had a lot of RVs. We've had this lifestyle for a long time, even though we're not full-time RVers. I think we're on our 6th RV, and we have had major issues. We've had blowouts. We've had axles that have failed. We've had brakes that have failed. We've had cabinets that have delaminated. We've had bolts that have gotten loose. We've lost stuff on the side of the road going down the road. We've had AC units that have gone out on us. We've had windows that have leaked. We have had issues that a lot of people deal with. Maybe not to the extent that some folks are having issues. Like if you're having a frame related issue or a superstructure related issue or an attachment related or a water intrusion through your roof or anything like that. Yes, those are really, really extreme examples of problems that you can have as an RV owner. But what I want to warn people, and this is just a big box that you need to be able to check if you want to get into RVing, is that you are likely buying a product that's not going to be built the way you're hoping it's built. That's probably the best expectation I can set. And as much as you would like to think sometimes that, oh, I get that, I understand that, I'm not going to have some of the fit and finish. I'm not going to have some of the quality that I might expect for the price that I'm paying. It could be worse than that. It could be a major chassis related issue. It could be a major failure while you're going down the road. It could be a number of things that may occur just because of the lifestyle that you're choosing to live. Now, am I saying that you shouldn't get an RV? No, I'm not. Am I saying that you should do more research? Well, I think most people that are getting into RVs these days do a lot of research. There's a ton of YouTube channels out there of people who initially had a great experience RVing or with a product and now have a terrible experience. And they're letting everybody know, which is perfectly acceptable and it's welcomed because it sets that expectation that I've always tried to share with you all. The reality of RVing is that it's work, it's expensive, it's filled with really, really good highs and really, really low lows. And just one tiny little thing can lead to something dramatic, whether it's a horrible situation, a breakdown, a failure, stranded, something damaged on the home that you're living in. There are so many variables that exist in the RV lifestyle that for anybody to glamorize it and say that all you're going to have is fun memories, it's going to be the greatest thing you've ever had, you're just going to travel everywhere and not experience anything bad, they're not true. That said, though, there's a lot of people out there who have a blast RVing, who might have small issues, who might have little things that happen. It doesn't hold them back. They keep on going. But if that's not you and you've had a major issue with your RV, then you should be vocal about it. You should let people know because these are things that could potentially happen to anybody else. Here's an example. If you buy a big toy hauler and you want to put a toy in the back, or maybe you don't even put a toy, maybe you just leave it as an extra bedroom for the kids or an office or whatever you plan on using it for, extra storage, who knows. And you hit the road in that thing and you have an issue with the structure of your RV, the roof of your RV, the axles, the running gear, the suspension, something fails and it's traumatic and it's massive and it prevents you from moving on. And it also gives you heartburn thinking about how much money you spent on this RV. You need to share that. You absolutely do. You need to let people know because if it's happened to you, regardless of the brand you buy, it's likely happening to someone else. And you should share the process of if that was resolved by the manufacturer, if it was truly their fault, if it was a defect in how it was built, what was done to take care of it. You should also be honest, and if you did something, you should share that as well because people need to know that also. They need to know that if something was done in a bad way by you, the owner, and that caused the problem, then if they don't do that, it's less likely they're going to experience that problem, if that makes sense. But for those of you who are experiencing a defect in how something was built and manufactured by the manufacturer of the RV, you should absolutely be vocal. Find a group that can give you the support you need to be able to get those problems resolved, while at the same time educating other people that if this situation occurs to you, this is how I dealt with it, this is how it was handled, this is how it was or wasn't resolved, and if you were satisfied with that result. Because I think at the end of the day, most people who are getting into RVing simply want you to share the honest truth with them, what it's going to be like. On my channel, I've never glamorized the RV lifestyle. I never have. I talk about things like why manufacturers put cheap tires on RVs. And I think that we've seen movement for that not to be the case anymore in many instances. Why travel trailers don't just come with suspension upgrades to them when you can get them on fifth wheels, right? And some fifth wheels don't even come with suspension upgrades. We know what a little upgrade like that can do from an overall life, the overall reliability and structural integrity of an RV. Why frames may not be designed with overkill or redundancy in mind, even though we all know that, the more you do that, the heavier the frame gets, and maybe the larger the vehicle you need to tow it with needs to be, and maybe you limit how much cargo. Seriously, I mean, you see these huge payload capacity numbers, and many of them just don't make sense. They're not realistic numbers that somebody's going to actually load into their RV. The reality is by manufacturers being more transparent with why they're coming up with the numbers they're coming up with what they're doing from a structural perspective, with what they're doing from a fit and finish, from an overall build quality perspective, and how they're evolving, I think benefits everybody, and it makes that brand more reputable. It makes it more desirable. When manufacturers take advantage of newer technology, when they take advantage of something that is proven to reduce the amount of shock and stress that an RV is going to go through when it's being towed down the road, when they do these things, that's the reputability that you're looking for as a consumer, because it means that the money you spend on your RV, much of it's going towards those improvements, which can make it last longer, make it more enjoyable, and less likely to have a failure occur while you're using it. So if you plan on getting into RVing, do your research, but don't just research channels who glamorize the RV lifestyle. You can't do that unless you're just specifically trying to blind yourself from things that could very possibly happen to you on the road with your RV. Understand that, if I buy an RV and my budget is $60,000, so I want as much as I can get for as close to $60,000 as possible. Well, if $60,000 is your budget, then you should, in my opinion, focus on RV manufacturers who build the best RV for $60,000, not the biggest and the most glamorous RV for $60,000, because there's always going to be compromises. That's what you have to understand. If you want an RV at a certain price point, you can either get something typically smaller, better built, with better components as your compromise, but less glamorous, less fancy, less wow factor. Or you can spend that $60,000 for all of the wow factor, the glitz, the glam, the luxury, but then realize that you're not getting the things that might actually make your RV last longer. You have to make those decisions. You have to do the research and understand what manufacturers focus more on the structure, how they build their RV, the quality of their RV, the warranty of their RV, how they back it up after the sale if something happens to it, versus who's trying to make something look really nice on a dealership lot just to sell it to you for you to deal with the problems after the sale and ultimately find out you're not getting the support you need when those problems happen. Because regardless of what RV you buy, who you buy it from, you're going to have some problem. Problems will occur. Something will happen. Whether it's a manufacturing issue or whether it's an accident, something will happen, and you're going to want a brand that either can back it up or a brand that has built an RV well enough that minimal damage, minimal problems will occur when that specific event happens. Anyways, guys, this is a video that I don't think is going to be any secret to those of you who have followed my channel for a long time. Again, I have absolutely never glamorized the RV lifestyle as it's going to be the greatest thing on earth. Typically, my focus is on making sure that you get to where you're going with the safest possible, stress-free possible towing experience that you can have. That's the reason why I give the numbers I give the recommendations that I give. It's to try to get you to where you're going stress-free. As far as RVs themselves, yes, I walk through them, but you also have to understand that walking through and touring an RV gives you no perception of the quality of that RV unless we're specifically pointing to things that are of higher quality on that specific RV, which I try to do. Anyways, please drop a comment below. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again real soon.